All right, real talk while I make my morning coffee this morning. So, this is going to be a two-part story because there's really two parts to this story. I'm going to tell you my story about going to Nashville while I make my morning coffee. So, basically, I'm from Nova Scotia, Canada, and I am a country singer. So, everybody kept telling me, oh, you got to go to Nashville, you got to go to Nashville. And my life in Nova Scotia was not the greatest. I was being stalked and harassed by jealous females. And I was assaulted. There's all this stuff. I was trying to get a restraining order against one female who was giving me an exceptionally hard time, hiring people to follow me around, try to intimidate me by following me out into the woods, stalking me online. So I was trying to go to Nashville, but I was also trying to get away from Nova Scotia at the same time. So when I got to the border, I didn't really have a plan. I was actually just kind of almost in more of like a fleeing state. I had to get out of there. I sold everything that I could sell and rounded up as much money as I possibly could. And I just started driving. At the border, they had me, I tried two days in a row. I tried two different times. The first time, I got Paul Blart Mall Cop, badge happy, nothing else to do, just wanted to ruin someone's friggin' day. Like, I lucked out, and there was nobody else, so I got all of his attention. So, this guy goes out to my car, he checks my car, and he comes back in, and he gets on the phone, blows past me, gets on the phone with his manager and goes, this girl's trying to immigrate to the States without doing her paperwork and she's living out of her car. So I walked up to the guy and I'm like, none of that's true. Like, just me being in it, I was like, none of that's true. None of that's true. But once they say it's true, then it's your job to prove it's not true. And if you can't prove it's not true, then you're not crossing the border. I couldn't prove it wasn't true. So, when they rejected me, it was so bad in the Maritimes that I just kept driving. I ended up in Guelph for a couple days. I was trying to figure out what the heck I was going to do. And then instinctively, somebody from Windsor reached out to me and said, I'm worried about you. Are you okay? Now, a little side note, I used to have this really cool connection with this person's mother, where I always knew when she was going to message. I always, we could just pick up on each other's senses, and we were always calling or messaging. You know, it's just different. So anyway, she reached out to me. She didn't know anything, and she invited me to come to Windsor and to collect myself and just, feel safe for a minute and recoup. And so that's what I did. I took 2 days of downtime, and then I hit the streets, and I figured out who I needed to know and where I needed to be and how to book some shows for myself. So that's what I did. And it all just took off pretty quickly, so I'm very lucky in that way. But yeah, and then within 3 days of being here, I had landed a gig at a Nashville bar here in Windsor, which most locals don't even know there is one. It had opened a week before I got here. It just all seemed so serendipitous that you couldn't deny that this is just maybe where it was meant to be, and I needed a little bit more time before I went to Nashville. So within 3 months of being here, I played at one of Toronto's biggest venues for country music. I was in Windsor Life magazine. I did a podcast, different radio stations and stuff. It just took off. So this is where we are. And then a year later, almost to the day, I finally made it to Nashville, but I'm going to save that for another story. So thanks for hanging out with me while I make my morning coffee and have a little story time. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I will be playing at Sam's Pizzeria and Cantina tonight at 7 o'clock if anybody's interested. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.